Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're all doing good. I've got three of the weirdest and really creepy stories for you today. So yeah, let's just get into it. I was renting this little house in California. It was a one-story place, kind of boxy. I think there was a raccoon living under the crawl space because sometimes I'd hear scratching at like 3 in the morning. I tried telling the property manager about it, but she kept saying, "We'll schedule a guy," and of course, no one ever came. I got used to it. The house next door was empty. Well, that's what I was told. It looked empty. The mailbox had one of those red "no delivery" stickers slapped across the top, and the lawn was dead, like actually dead, like hay. I remember because one time my dog ran into it and came back with half the yard stuck to his fur. He's a mutt, mostly lab, sheds everywhere. I had to lint roll my car seats daily, no joke. The point is, the house looked completely unused, which is why the coughing freaked me out. I'd first heard it first week of living there, something like that. I was unpacking boxes and trying to set up my desk, and I had the window open because that house smelled like the previous tenant had microwaved fish daily for 5 years. That kind of stale, sharp smell that gets in your clothes. I had all the windows cracked and the fan going. I heard this cough, deep, like a chest cough. It came from the direction of the empty house next door. I was freezing because it wasn't like a random noise. It was definitely a person. I leaned toward the window a little, thinking someone was walking outside or something. It wasn't loud, and then it came again like someone trying to clear their throat. I think the weirdest part was that it sounded tired, like someone who'd been sick for a while. I tried not to think much of it. People wander into empty houses sometimes. Kids, squatters. I've seen enough sketchy stuff living in California. But that night when I took Jax out for a walk, I kind of glanced at the neighboring place. No lights, nothing. I shrugged it off. I had work early. I do HVACs, so mornings are usually rough because people want their AC fixed yesterday. You get used to long days and even longer commutes. I didn't have energy to worry about some cough, but it didn't stop. I kept hearing it over the next weeks, randomly. Like I'd be brushing my teeth and suddenly hear a cough outside. Or Jax would sit up at like 2 in the morning and look toward the window, ears perked, and then I'd hear that same cough, muffled like it was inside the house next door. I started checking the front yard more often, and then this is where things really started feeling off. I saw someone. It was a month in. I was taking out the trash. My trash can wheel squeaks like crazy, and I kept telling myself I'd oil it, but I never did. I remember it squealing loudly as I dragged it down the driveway, and while I was annoyed at myself for forgetting the WD-40 again, I saw movement next door. There was a tall woman standing at the front door of the empty house, like actually unlocking it. She was tall, with this long, dark coat, even though it wasn't cold. She had her hair tied back, and she moved. I don't know how to explain it. Efficient. Like she wasn't sneaking or nervous or anything. She just pulled out a key, unlocked the door, and went inside like she'd done it 1,000 times. I stared because, who the hell was she? I didn't say anything, though. It felt weird to yell across someone else's property. But when I brought the trash can back up, I noticed the door was closed again and all the lights were still off. No car in the driveway. I kept telling myself it was maybe the owner. But the property manager had told me the owner lived out of state. Like, he lived in Nevada or something. And this woman didn't have keys on a landlord ring or files or anything. She just looked like a normal person. I saw her again 2 nights later through my bedroom window. She wasn't doing anything suspicious. She was just unlocking the door again. Same coat, same quick movements, and then she was gone. Okay, so this next part, I hate talking about it because it makes me sound like an idiot, but I swear I saw a man looking out from the front window one night. A completely different person. It was late. I'd fallen asleep on the couch watching something, and I woke up with my neck hurting. The fridge was doing its stupid helicopter noise, and Jax needed to pee, so I got up and walked him outside. When I turned to come back in, I saw a face in the window next door. A man, middle-aged, sort of balding, staring at me from inside the house. He didn't move. I stared back because I was so shocked, and then Jax tugged the leash, and when I looked again, the window was empty. I know faces. I work with people all day. I've seen enough tired homeowners complain about heat waves to know what a real person looks like when they're behind a window. This guy was real. I don't know how many days passed like that, hearing noises, seeing random people, feeling like someone was living in that house secretly. I got used to checking the blinds whenever I walked by a window. Sometimes I'd hear muffled footsteps. Sometimes I'd hear something dragging. But the owners weren't around. So what was I supposed to do? Call the cops and say, "Hey, I heard coughing"? I finally contacted the property manager and asked if she knew anything about the place next door. She said it'd been empty for months, and the owners were trying to sell it, but couldn't because the market sucked. She gave me a phone number for the owners, a couple who lived out in Oregon. I sat on that number for like a week because I didn't want to sound insane. But one night, I remember this clearly, I heard something slam against the wall inside that house. Like someone fell. Jax whimpered and hid behind my legs. That's when I called the owner. The guy answered, groggy. I think I woke him up. He sounded annoyed until I told him what I'd seen and heard. Then he went quiet, asked me to repeat it, asked if I was sure. Long story short, he said he'd fly out the next morning. He showed up around noon the next day. Older guy, gray beard, really polite. He shook my hand and said he appreciated me calling him. We walked over together. He tried the key. It stuck for a second, like the lock hadn't been used in a long time. When he pushed the door open, the smell hit instantly. Hard to explain. Strong enough, we both had to step back. The place looked creepy, clutter everywhere, like someone had been living in there without electricity or water. Old food containers, paper towels stuffed in weird places, blankets piled in a corner, and then, in one of the back rooms, we found the remains of someone who'd been unalive for months, long enough that you could tell no one should have been walking around. The owner called the police immediately. He was shaking. The remains matched a missing person report from almost a year earlier. A man, middle-aged, looked just like the one I saw in the window, except he'd been unalive long before I moved in. There was no tall woman, no signs anyone else had been there. They said it was impossible for me to have seen him. Impossible for me to have heard him. Impossible for any of it to line up. I don't know what explanation I'm supposed to accept. I don't believe in supernatural, never have. But if it wasn't him, then I don't know. Someone was in that house. Someone who shouldn't have been. I live in a small house in Independence, Missouri, close enough to the highway that you can hear trucks in the winter when the air is cold and everything carries farther. I rent the place. Been there 3 years. I work early mornings, so I go to bed stupid early, and sometimes I wake up at random times. That started before any of this. I used to think I was just imagining the footsteps. The house is old, built in the 70s or something, and the floors creak when the temperature changes. At least that's what my landlord says, even though he's never actually come inside except once to look at a leak. But around, I want to say, June, I started waking up to this super slow, soft walking sound, like someone trying not to wake me, which is funny because I'm a light sleeper anyway. And at first I didn't really react. I mean, I did the thing where you freeze for a second and try to hold your breath because you're not sure if you're hearing something outside or in your head. I think I even told my coworker once that I needed a new mattress because mine squeaks when I move. And I thought that was making me think I heard footsteps, which doesn't even make sense now that I'm thinking about it. But at the time, I just kept brushing it off. Nothing was ever missing. Not a single thing. That's what threw me off. If someone was getting into my place, why wouldn't they take, I don't know, my TV, my laptop, even my stupid change jar on the counter? And the door was always locked when I got up in the morning. The windows, too. I even checked the bathroom window because I kept thinking that latch was loose. It wasn't. I don't know why, but the only thing that ever made me stop doubting myself was this one morning I found the fridge door cracked open, just like 2 inches. The light was shining on the tile, and I thought I forgot to close it all the way. But I'm obsessive about that stuff because I hate wasting electricity. My mom used to yell at me about that when I was a kid. Close it all the way, don't just let the cold out, and I guess that stuck with me. So when I saw that door open, I got that buzzing feeling in my chest. But again, I just shoved it into that mental folder of whatever. I swear half of this story is just me ignoring obvious things. The real problem started when I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was walking in the kitchen. The kitchen specifically. It wasn't like I heard it anywhere else, just these quiet little steps, like heel then toe, super soft, and always between 2:40 and 3:30 in the morning. Not every night. I actually kept a sticky note log for like a week because I thought it was a raccoon or something in the walls. But it wasn't consistent like an animal, and it sounded too human. I don't know why that makes me feel stupid typing it. So here's where I actually did something that wasn't completely useless. I had an old phone, one of those backup ones you keep in a drawer when you finally upgrade but don't throw the old one away. I charged it and put it on top of the fridge. Not super hidden, but angled toward the kitchen just enough. I didn't even mean to leave it recording for 2 hours. I meant like 15 minutes. But I'd been so tired from work that I literally fell asleep right after hitting record. I remember the last thing I saw was that little light blinking on the screen. Then I knocked out. When I woke up the next morning, I kind of forgot I even did it. I was late for work, my phone was at 9%. I couldn't find my left shoe, it was that kind of morning. I didn't even check the recording until after my shift, when I was sitting in my car because the AC inside the store had been broken all day, and I felt gross. I clicked on it expecting to hear nothing. So I'm sitting there in my car, listening. More than half the recording is just nothing. I scrubbed through the audio bar with my thumb until I hit this really faint little sound, like fabric, or breathing, or the fridge settling. Hard to tell. I had to turn the volume all the way up. And right at 3 a.m., there it was, a whisper. Just this really tiny, soft, almost embarrassed sounding sorry, like someone standing right in front of the fridge, maybe with their head down. You know how people say sorry automatically when they bump into something? It had that kind of tone. Not apologizing to me, just apologizing to something. I think that freaked me out more than if it had been loud. My whole body went cold when I heard it. I kept replaying it, and every single time, I swear the voice sounded familiar. Not freshly familiar, like someone you used to talk to a lot and haven't heard in years. It was that distant kind of familiarity, like a memory behind another memory. I couldn't place it, and that's what really messed with me. I remember just sitting there in my car, door partially open because the latch sticks, staring at the dashboard like an idiot while the sun was going down behind the gas station across the street. My hands were shaking. I'm not trying to sound dramatic. I just genuinely felt like I'd stepped into a wrong version of my life for a second. I tried showing the recording to one of my coworkers, and she said it sounded like maybe a radio or someone outside. But the phone was inside the house on top of the fridge, and my neighbors don't leave their radios on at night. I ended up calling the cops that night. I didn't want to, but I also didn't want to sleep there knowing someone could be inside, or had been inside. I don't know why I waited until nighttime to call, that sounds dumb, but I kept trying to convince myself it wasn't real. But when I got home and walked through the door, I swear the house smelled like someone had opened the fridge and let the cold air out. I froze at the doorway for like a full minute. The cops. They didn't find anything. Nothing forced, nothing moved, nothing missing. They asked if someone might have a key. I said no, not unless my landlord duplicated one without telling me, which honestly wouldn't surprise me, but whatever. They asked to hear the recording. I played it. The woman tilted her head and asked me to play it again. Then again. After the third time she said it does sound human, which didn't make me feel any better. The guy said it could be a noise artifact, like the fridge motor starting and my brain making words out of it. But it was literally the word sorry. Clear, just quiet. The woman knew it too because she kind of squinted her eyes in that way people do when they hear something obvious but don't want to say it. There wasn't much they could do. No signs of break-in, no missing items, no proof someone was there. And I get it. I do. But it didn't make sleeping any easier. I stayed with my sister for 2 nights, which was a whole thing because she kept telling me to just move already, like that's easy. Rent is insane everywhere. Plus, she lives with her boyfriend, who acts like my existence ruins his vibe or whatever. Her couch is tiny too. My neck is still messed up from sleeping on it. I went back home after that, and I remember doing this dumb little walkthrough where I tapped every window latch like 4 times just to make sure it was locked. I sealed the bathroom window with one of those cheap plastic rods you twist until it wedges in place. I put a broom under the doorknob, even though I know that doesn't actually do anything. And then, for like a week, nothing happened. I even did another recording one night, and the only thing I caught was me snoring at one point, which honestly embarrassed me, even though no one else heard it. A few days after things went quiet, I was putting groceries away. Just stupid normal stuff like eggs and coffee creamer and a bag of shredded cheese I always buy even though I barely cook. I opened the fridge and I noticed the magnet on the side had been moved. It's this little wooden magnet shaped like a rooster that my mom gave me. It used to sit near the top corner. It was lower, only a few inches, not like it had fallen. It was moved gently. I know because I'm a creature of habit, and I always put it back in the same spot after wiping down the fridge. And the fridge hadn't been wiped that week. I didn't hear anything, didn't see anything, didn't catch anything on video. But that magnet being moved felt worse than the whisper because it meant someone had been in the house again after the cops came. I was thinking about that whisper, about how it sounded like someone I used to know, a voice that was familiar in a distant, not good way. Like someone whose number you deleted years ago, but you'd recognize if they said your name in a crowd. But I still can't place it. And that's the worst part, honestly. It's like my brain knows who it was, but won't let me remember. Like there's something I'm forgetting on purpose. I even tried writing down names of people from my past, old coworkers, old neighbors, people I went to high school with, and saying their names out loud to see if anything matched the tone of that whisper. Nothing. The cops, they didn't have anything to go on. I got a camera system installed, the cheap kind you buy at Walmart, and I've been checking it pretty much obsessively, even though it hasn't caught anything. Sometimes I think whoever it was figured out I knew. Or maybe they were just passing through that period of my life, some weird intersecting line that I'll never understand. Let me start where it actually begins, which wasn't even that night. It was earlier that afternoon. I was driving back from visiting my cousin in Westfield, this tiny little town in western Massachusetts, where everything is either a cornfield, a gas station, or some old historical sign talking about something none of the locals care about. My cousin had been begging me for weeks to help him move his busted couch out of his apartment because it smells like wet dog. I don't know how a couch ends up smelling like that if you don't own a dog, but I didn't ask. So I went. By the time we finished, it was almost 7 p.m., and I was already exhausted, and I just wanted to get home, shower, eat whatever leftovers I had in the fridge, which I think were those dry grocery store chicken tenders, and pass out on the couch. I didn't want to be driving at night, especially not on the rural back highway he told me to take, because it's faster. His definition of faster is fewer cops. But whatever, I listened, because I'm stupid like that. So the actual moment happened later around 1 a.m. because I kept stopping. First at a gas station where the sodas were 2 for $3, so of course I bought 2 even though I didn't want to. Then again at this random rest area because my GPS froze and I had to restart my phone. Then again because my mom texted me this super long message complaining about my aunt, and I didn't want to deal with her calling if I didn't answer. It was like every stop kept delaying the actual drive to the part of Route 20 people locally call Dead Mile. I don't know who started calling it that, some ghost hunting YouTuber probably. But it stuck. I wasn't thinking about that at all. I was just driving. Windows slightly cracked because something smelled weird in my car earlier. My radio was doing that thing where it cuts out for half a second because I guess some parts of rural Massachusetts exist outside the reach of satellites. Then I saw a person, not looking lost, just standing, facing the road, facing me, waving, slow, like someone greeting an old friend at a distance. I actually thought he was someone I knew. I don't know why. Maybe the way he was waving, kind of lazy, like he expected me to slow down. The headlights caught his face just enough that my brain did that thing where you go, wait, do I know that person? From school? From work? From somewhere? He looked familiar and not familiar at the same time. I squinted a little, even leaned forward, which was dumb because that doesn't magically make headlights brighter. I wasn't scared at that exact second, just confused. A little unsettled because who the hell stands on a rural highway at 1 a.m.? But not scared yet. The creepy part wasn't the man. It was how my stomach reacted, like I suddenly got motion sick for no reason. Like the air inside the car got heavier, thick, like I needed to roll the window fully down to breathe normal air. I didn't, though. I just kept driving. He didn't step forward, didn't chase the car, didn't do any horror movie crap. He stood there, waving slowly until he was out of view. I checked the rearview mirror once, but the angle was weird and I didn't see anything. Probably for the best. I didn't really freak out until later. I remember even saying out loud, because I talk to myself when I'm tired, like, what the hell was that guy doing out here, in this annoyed voice? And then my phone buzzed with some spam notification, and I moved on mentally. I got home around 1:30-ish. I shoved the chicken tenders into the microwave because they were still there, looking sad in the plastic container. Ate 2 bites, threw them away, took a shower, went to bed. Nothing weird happened until the next morning. So I have this dash cam. It's cheap, like Amazon special cheap, and the button labels are rubbed off because the plastic wore down. But it records automatically when the car's running, so I leave it. I only bought it because last winter some guy sideswiped me and blamed me, and I didn't have proof. I remembered the man around lunch the next day while I was scrolling on my phone. Someone posted a meme about creepy roadside people, and it jogged my memory. So when I got home after work, I decided to go check the footage out of curiosity. My laptop fan sounded like a vacuum cleaner the whole time I was loading the files. The playback was normal for a while. Trees, road signs, the inside of my windshield looking dirtier than I realized. Until it got to around the time I saw the man. So I watched carefully. And here's the thing, he wasn't there. I don't mean he looked different on camera. I mean he straight up wasn't in the recording at all. The headlights illuminated the shoulder, the asphalt, the little reflector post on the side of the road, all of it clear. But no man. I scrubbed back, forward, slower, faster, nothing. It made my stomach sink in this weird way, like embarrassment. Like I hallucinated a whole-ass person waving at me? I mean, I was tired, but I wasn't that tired. I must have replayed that 5 times before I remembered the dash cam also records audio. I almost never check that part because the mic sucks and all you hear is engine hum and the rattling from my glove compartment. But I figured something would explain it. So I clicked on the little audio icon. At first it was just noise. Road rumble, my stupid turn signal clicking weirdly fast like it sometimes does, the sound of my jacket rubbing the seat, and, I swear on my life, on everything I love and hate. Someone said something in the back seat. Not clear. Not even like an actual whisper you'd hear in a horror movie. Like a human mouth shaping words really close to the mic, but not talking to the mic. Like the sound was coming from behind my left ear. Just a soft, breathy, broken bit of sound. Like, keep me. I don't even know if those were the words. That's just what it sounded like. Like keep me, but not fully formed. Like someone whose mouth was dry, or someone who didn't want to be heard clearly saying it. I paused the video so fast my hand slipped, and I knocked over my drink. The plastic cup fell onto the carpet and leaked soda, and I didn't even clean it for a full hour because I couldn't make myself move from the chair. I kept telling myself it was interference. Or maybe a glitch, or maybe the dash cam picked up radio crap, or maybe that was me breathing weirdly and it just sounded like words when I replayed it. But it wasn't me. I know my own voice, even tired, even mumbling, even when I'm talking to myself, and this wasn't me. And it wasn't the man either, because again, the man wasn't in the footage. At all. Not even a shadow. Just empty highway shoulder. I shut the laptop, actually slammed it closed, which made it restart itself later, because I guess I hit something inside. And then I sat there on the edge of my bed with this pressure behind my eyes like I was about to cry even though I wasn't sad. It was just this heavy feeling, like someone was standing behind me in the doorway, even though logically I knew nobody was there. I live alone. The only other living thing in my apartment is the dying cactus on my windowsill. That night, I kept waking up drenched in sweat, freezing cold 1 minute and burning up the next. My throat felt tight, my head was pounding. I was thinking about the sound, not even the man, but the sound. Because what scares me isn't that I saw someone who wasn't there. People hallucinate when they're tired. Your brain fills in blanks. What scares me is that the dashcam heard something I didn't. And not outside the car. Inside it. Behind me. I checked the back seat that morning like an idiot, pulling up the floor mats, looking under the seats like a kid checking for monsters. I don't even know what I thought I'd find. A raccoon? A person? An animal that somehow rode home with me without me noticing? I don't know. There was nothing, except a grocery receipt from 2 weeks ago and a pen cap. The fever hit around noon that day, hard. My whole body felt bruised. I couldn't think straight. I left work early. My coworker asked if I was okay, and I think I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just tired." But she gave me the look people give when they know you're lying. When I got home, I didn't replay the footage again. I couldn't. I still can't. It's still on my laptop, but I won't open the folder. Fever goes up, then down. I get chills in my car sometimes, even when the heater's on. And I keep thinking about the familiarity thing. The guy on the shoulder, why did he look familiar? I keep trying to place him, like someone I passed once, or someone from school, or some random person from years ago. My brain keeps trying to match him to someone and failing. I don't know what happened. And I'm not saying it was anything supernatural. I'm not doing that. I'm just writing exactly what happened, exactly how it felt, exactly what I heard. If there's some normal explanation, good, please. I want there to be. But I know the feeling I had when I heard that audio. It wasn't a glitch. It wasn't me imagining things. It was a voice right behind me. Sometimes when I'm sitting in my car now, waiting for the heater to warm up in the mornings, the back seat air feels warmer than the front, or like the space behind me is smaller, like something's there taking up room, even though I know logically there's nothing back there except my stupid gym bag and the umbrella that always rolls around.